And welcome back to the Off the Clock Show. Joined again with Shawn from OrbisX CRM and Marshall Hill from the Price of Polishing Podcast, as well as Hyper Clean Car Care Productos. There we go. See? And I got an interruption-free intro. Appreciate you. Thank you, brother. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, thanks. As if you couldn't tell, I was watching a couple boxing matches recently. Well, rewatching actually some old ones because I mentioned some boxers, and my daughter, who's into boxing with me, she's like, I've never seen them fight, and I was blown away. So anyway, we rewatched some stuff. But yeah, anyway, I'm always fascinated with the announcers because,
Oh,
like,
that one guy, right? Has that
man,
jacket.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
always
yeah.
like, and out of the red corner. It's like,
It's amazing,
yeah,
man.
man. Like,
Yeah. And you gotta wonder because, like, he's obviously found his groove, but what was day one like? You know what I mean? Like, what was it? Did he fumble? Was he nervous? Or maybe how do you even get
well,
into that?
there you go. That's what I was gonna say. I mean, my actual tip later is gonna be a guy that asked me, well, where do you even start? Like, that's what
Ah,
I thought about that. Like, how
yeah.
that guy found like so many of us want to know our purpose, right? Or what are
Ah,
we here to
yeah.
do? Like, then there's people like him that you go,
Yeah, it's like,
like fucking
yeah,
easy
same.
life, man. All
Oh
you did
yeah,
was
man.
wake up one day and start talking, and
Exactly.
then next thing you know, right? Like
Get to
probably
meet all
wasn't
these
that.
famous people and, like, yeah, it's true. And same with the guys that do the like the trailers, the voiceovers for the trailers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They don't do that as much anymore. Now it's more they just show you clips. But
Mm-hmm.
remember, like, movie trailers used to
Oh
be,
yeah, it used to be.
and it was a bright sunny day, and da-da-da, and the guy just goes into it. He had that voice, and you're like, fuck yeah, those are the days, man. It's pretty cool. People fall into
The
stuff.
good old days.
Yeah, exactly.
Pre-corona days.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? I've noticed something actually. I've been asking people that. I don't know why, but randomly. So we've had more contractors at the house. Like, we just closed our pools. We had some guys doing that.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, were you in business before corona? Was
yeah,
that the
yeah. So,
question you asked?
so no, not that one specifically,
Oh.
but I've been asking them in a way. I've been asking them this: how'd you get into this after Corona? Because, like, I've
Oh,
noticed a lot of the people I talk to,
so many of them.
they say, like, oh, I've been doing this for 4 months. I've been doing this for a year. It's a lot of recent stuff. And I'm like, okay, so did you have a passion for this before? And then things got shut down. Now you're back into it, or like what happened? It's been pretty interesting to hear people's stories of how they got into things. And I'll say half of them just kind of fell into it. Like, a lot of them familial relationships. Like the one guy, he's like, well, I married the owner's, cousin, and I was looking for work, and he was looking for good people. And I was like, okay. So stuff like that, but which happens. Not always the best way to hire people, but we're talking about they just need laborers. So as long as he's going to show up, this and that. Me personally, I don't really like hiring family as much as possible, but happens. My brother-in-law works for OrbisX. I mean, these things happen. Depends on the relationship you have. Like, I've known him 15 years. We've been through ups, downs, the whole nine. So it's, you can handle things. But yeah, the part that struck me is there's a lot of trade schools here, and there's a lot of even just, I don't know what you call them, post-secondary trainings you can go to, and you can become like certified in something. A lot of the guys I'm meeting aren't necessarily certified or have a background in it, but they just studied under somebody to learn. And that's where it's one of those things, right? It's like the number one question, like, how do I start my shop, or how do I this and that? And it's like, go work at one is usually a good start. But anyway, for me, it was just YouTube videos. Like, we knew we were gonna start an auto shop, and we were like, all right, YouTube University. And then but it was more for us. We're good at searching, though. That's the thing, there's an art form to it, as you know. You got to know, if you know what you're like, we had business experience already. We were looking for something hyper focused. It was different, you know?
You you may or may not have been a good student with the academic A, B, C, or now here they give out ends,
Ends. Okay.
not adequate.
Oh, holy shit. Jeez, that's crazy. And then in a couple of years, that's going to become a faux pas, and you have to say something else. That's what's going to happen. Yeah. But not adequate. Damn.
Well, no more D's and F's here, but
Yeah.
you're just
Wow.
getting not adequate.
Not
So
adequate. That's
you
like a
might not
fancy
have
word for
been
stupid. That's,
you
you
might
know
not
what I
have been
mean?
good at like the
Jeez.
actual grade, but you
Right.
probably were good at like doing the work.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. 100%.
Like
For
you
me,
probably enjoyed studying something, right?
yeah,
Like seems
absolutely.
strange,
Yeah,
but
yeah. but it's just a different format. Like
Hmm.
I'm like a student for life. I learn things all the time. Like even you and I, we send books back and forth. By the way, thank you for that audiobook you sent me on the
No,
weekend
no,
there.
I send you books. You fail to send
Oh,
me things that you promise.
look, David's tea. I'm sending you the link. It's amazing. I'm gonna send you a tin of it too. It's amazing tea. All right. That's true. I did drop the ball on
That's
that
me
hard.
throwing you under the bus.
Yeah, yeah, fair. I was,
So actually, so Mildred, he listens to his episodes,
yeah,
and I
yeah.
said something about him the other day, and I was talking to him. I go, "Yeah, man, I didn't throw you under the bus. Like I threw you in the bus. You're getting
In the,
OrbisX. We're going." Like,
yeah, exactly. Now we're going. That's it. That's a good one. I threw you in the bus. See, I'm taking you places. That's nice. Well played. So yeah, I will send you that, but definitely student for life. At high school, I almost failed.
so what's going on here? Because definitely not a student for life with the looks.
Ah,
Sometimes you come in all suave, but
that's true. So what's going
yeah,
on with me lately is so kids back to school, full swing, everything. Some kid on Friday or Thursday came in super sick. My daughter went to school. She's part of this thing. It's the golden, God, I always forget it. Not golden broom, golden dustpan award, where whoever has the cleanest classroom, the golden dustpan, they win something like extra recess time or extra lunch. Who knows? They get something. She's really excited about it. So she
do
helps
your
clean
kids
up.
at school clean up after themselves?
Yeah. They well, not by choice. Like it's not like those Japanese schools where they everyone contributes.
That's
It's
where
yeah,
I was
yeah.
gonna go. Like
Okay,
that's it. I
yeah.
was gonna ask. Is there any semblance there? No, yeah. So you
Ah,
know about that, huh?
yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
Jap.
100%. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I used it when I was talking to my daughter and I was explaining it to her and everything. And I said, what you're doing is a great thing and everyone should do it. And then, you're all enjoying the school, but they do have janitors there. But she always feels for them because she's like, people don't treat them very nice. So what she does every time, every Friday, she writes a note on the board and she says, "Have a good weekend, Earl." That's his name, Earl. And so she did that. And then this little snot-nosed kid that literally, who's got dripping on from his face and all kinds of stuff, he goes and he wipes the name off the board. And so she got pissed. So she goes over, she rewrites it back. He goes to wipe it off again. She gives him a push. He gives her a push. Next thing you know, they're kind of tussling and stuff. He's like coughing and stuff. And she gets sick, of course. She comes home crying. She's sad. I can't believe Elliot did this, all this kind of shit. Oh, I'm not supposed to say his name. Anyway, whatever. She comes home upset. I hug her, all kind of stuff. She starts coughing. It's just I'm sick, is what's happened. But no
So the
days
moral of the
off.
story: you should have lectured her. You should have scolded her because I
Yeah.
thought you'd been teaching her some of these discipline moves and
See,
some of this
yeah, that's right.
combats
It's
to
true.
get that boy off of her, man. What's
Yeah.
going on here? I
I
thought you
know.
were
Should have just told her to walk away. Just walk away. Let that snot nose
should have taken the knee out, Johnny.
taking the knee. That's true. You know what? That'll be lesson two. That's what we'll do. Yeah, but out of the two kids, she's the fighter though. She definitely is. She's the one. She works the heavy bag, everything. She's pretty intense. But she always tells me she's like, I wanted to break his
Apparently
nose,
not.
but I'm a good kid, so I didn't. She says that all the time, And but I just know one day, like she's gonna snap because it happened once with another neighbor, the two kids, and he was about 2 or 3 years older than her. She ended up picking him up by the neck and put him up against the wall. But she's one of those ones like she loves hard, but then when she gets pushed to a certain limit. So her older sister
Tell her
pushed
to up her limit here,
up
right?
the
Like,
just yeah,
hey, we got a
it's
little
the limit, right?
close.
Yeah,
Got a
yeah,
little
yeah.
close. Now
That's
we're
it.
all sick. If you'd have just done your
Exactly.
job,
Whole
right?
house, man. It's gone through all of us. Like my wife was escaping it, and then she just showed signs this morning. It
That's the
was
brutal part.
Yeah, but that's where she was asking me though. Like I said, we were closing the pool. She was like, I don't even know how you're still standing. Because like all my schedule is still the same. Everything is the same. The only difference is I'm spending a little more time in the sauna. That's the only thing that changed. But we put some eucalyptus in there. It's heavenly. But anyway, I'm out there prepping the pool to be closed. And she's like, yeah, but you're doing half the job that they're being paid to do. I was like, yes, but this is the part that I need to have done correctly. And the faster that I get the pool, everything sorted, because we're going to Bahamas soon, I don't need them here for too long. I just want them here and gone. Every time contractors come here, they either have a million questions. They're like, "Oh, what is it you do for a living? Or what is it this and that?" And next thing you know, I'm just trying to brush them off, but I can't be too rude because like they're about to do some work, right? So I gotta like massage it and play the game, but at the same time, it really chews into my routine So for me, I'm like, if I spend 15, 20 minutes, draining the pool halfway, getting the plugs out, getting the tarp out, everything, just doing half of their job, it means that they're only going to be at our place for about 10, 15 minutes. And that's exactly what happened today. Versus if I do nothing, the whole time they're there, they're going to be talking to me, I'm going to lose an hour and a half. And so it's like, you know what? So it was a little personal investment, but that's me feeling like shit. Like most people, they would just be laying up in bed and, oh, I'm taking a sick day. I don't even know what a sick day is, to be honest. Like, if I'm sick, it's
Been a
just a day
bit.
I'm sick.
It's
I
been
don't.
a bit.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, it's been.
it's been a bit. I
Yeah,
did take Corona sick day. I did take Corona sick day. That was the
yeah,
last sick day I've had. I'll
yeah,
take a
yeah,
vacation, right? But
yeah. Sure,
yeah,
vacations are different.
but
I'm
a
sure.
sick day,
Mhm.
It's been since Corona. I did catch
Yeah, yeah,
Corona. I was out. But still did the pub. When we used to do the
yeah,
pub, I did
yeah.
the pub that night and I told the guys we're not gonna record it because I felt so terrible. I actually fell asleep. I was laying down. It
Oh
was so
shit.
bad.
Yeah, damn.
And it
And like those
actually
are
was when we
extenuating
should have
circumstances.
recorded.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because
man,
they
that's
all were
amazing.
just chatting away and it was like
Yeah,
it was really good. Yeah.
man, that's
But
amazing. It's one of those things, where I don't know about you, but I find obviously I think different when I'm, you know, not 100%. Because I'm
oh
forced to
yeah.
I'm forced
Well,
to take a beat.
okay. So put that into the same idea of anybody that has chronic pain.
Ah, yeah,
And that's right. We can all understand pain is a level up from a sickness.
yeah.
And so chronic, like,
It means it's not
never
going.
goes away.
Yeah,
As soon as you
Jesus,
wake up to as soon as you go to sleep,
that's
the
true.
chronic pain is brutal.
Yeah, yeah. Damn, it's crazy because me, I have arthritis in my hands and
There
also
you go.
they're
Arthritis is a
messed up.
chronic pain. Yeah.
Yeah, and because I type a lot, end of
Mm-hmm.
the day it's just brutal, right? And
Yep.
then sometimes I'm just like I'm done. And so sometimes people are like, "Oh, I was messaging you and then you just disappeared." And I'm like, "Yeah, my fucking hands hurt." So I'm
It's
done.
why after 30 to 35, our industry goes,
Mm,
right? I mean,
yeah,
you rarely see somebody get above 40 to 45. We've talked about this. It's a common, right?
yeah,
It's a
it's
common thing.
true.
But I'm curious from you because speaking of 40s, my wife is wants to go to the Bahamas.
Yeah, hell yeah.
What
And that's
she's
where
thinking for her 40. What I mean, what's Bahamas? What should we do? Where are you going?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I'm leaving next Monday, the Monday coming, and we're going to Atlantis, which is going to be absolutely awesome. We've been watching like YouTube videos, travel
I did
vlogs,
that
all that
too.
kind of stuff,
Yep.
big time. Yeah.
That's the place to go, right? It's kind of what I
Oh
said. Like
yeah.
the videos I want, like people show you, but they always show you Atlanta. Like,
Yeah, that's the place. Like if you're going to Bahamas, that's the absolutely. Even people that were doing cruises, we watched some people. They just got off the cruise and they had like between 4 and 9 hours or something to be at Atlantis, and they had choices of like things to do on the island, and they were like, nah, Atlantis is what we got to do.
why?
And then man, where to start? So first off, they have it's basically a big those that are familiar with it, it's like a big amusement park in a way, but like a water park. But it's a special water park. They have slides and all that kind of stuff, but they've built kind of this. It's supposed to be after like the lost city of Atlantis, right? So they built these kind of pyramid type shaped structures that they have slides going down them. And it's not just okay, it's a water slide. What's so special about that? Well, these water slides go down into a tube in an aquarium. It's a shark tank. And so there's sharks, manta rays, all kinds of stuff just swimming over you, but you're in this tube, so they can't get to you, obviously. And then it goes from there into a lazy river. And so it's you're just floating around in this lazy river, and then you end up back through another section where there's like a
Straight into the Shark Tank, lazy
straight
river,
into the
right
shark
into the
tank,
Shark.
basically. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
don't eat you in the tube, you know,
Exactly. They get you at the end. Exactly. It's like an obstacle course. It's kind of
unless
like
you
Spartan,
pay, right?
unless you
Unless you
pay.
get to the end and you pay the money.
Exactly. That's the trap. Exactly. You want to escape the sharks? Done deal. It'll cost you. But yeah, so there's that. There's a cave it spits you out into at one part, and then you're underground in this cave thing, but there's a massive glass wall, and you're looking at this aquarium, all these fish swimming and everything. There's mermaids in there and everything. It's pretty cool. Not real mermaids, obviously. But if you believe in that kind of thing, but then there's so many other attractions there. Not just that, there's tons of other water slides. But the beaches are really nice too. Nice white sand, which by the way, I just learned that most like 80% of the world's white sand or something is actually from the parrotfish because the parrotfish eats coral and then poops
It's the
out
poop. Yeah.
sand. Yeah,
Mhm.
so it's gonna be a little different in my head when I'm like, I've got it between my toes and I'm like, oh shit, literally. But yeah, so the nice beaches there too. Lots of stuff to do with family. The food apparently is amazing. If
All inclusive?
No, so the food is extra. But apparently, well, we looked at the menus online. The pricing is reasonable, to be honest. It's kind of prices you'd pay back home. It's nothing like
Have you done
crazy.
all inclusive?
Yeah, we've done a lot of mainly when
Yeah,
we
those
go
are
to
fun.
Cuba. Those are yeah, that's where you just engorge yourself.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The only problem is you kind of go a little overboard. Like
Yeah, and
at my age, I didn't need to be doing that, do I?
yeah, absolutely not. And that's where I feel that this is going to be only like maybe our fourth time doing like I'm trying to remember what they call the plan. There's like the all-inclusive European. I don't know what the other one's called, just hotel stay. I don't know, whatever that one's called, where no food's included. We haven't done many of them because most of the countries we've gone to, like, Mexico, a lot of places we stay, it's just all inclusive, right? Or it was somewhere where we lived for a while and then we would cook food. But I hated the waste when we go to, like, especially like our kids, they're a little bit better now, but when they were younger, their eyes would be so much bigger than their stomach, and so we go and then like I felt horrible. There's like we had friends that were working at some of the hotels and there my kid took her third plate and like I know his living situation and then like and she's just like, oh, she ate one bite and she's like, I can't have any more, and then they have to throw it out. I felt horrible, you know what I mean? So we had to teach our kids like, oh, listen, the world is set up this way and blah blah blah. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for it, man. In the restaurants, the food looks amazing. And they do have some that's a buffet style as well, so you can pay like one price and then you just have access to the buffet kind of thing as well. If you're into gambling, there's a massive casino there as well. There's for our teenage daughter's excited for this. They have like a teen nightclub type thing. So I think it's from like 8 till 12 or something like that. And they have an arcade there and all kinds of stuff. The kids go dancing, whatever. And then they have something similar for the younger ones as well. So yeah, it seems like it's gonna be a pretty epic vacation, and I'm excited for swimming with the pigs. They have these pigs that swim.
Yeah, it's gross.
It's great.
They're
Man,
still
they look cute as
pigs.
hell, man. I saw
Yeah, pigs are pigs. Pigs
It's
are
true.
gross.
I did hear it's pretty gross though. It's not like the
Yeah,
videos you see online. Yeah, yeah.
no.
I still have to do it, man. I gotta see these pigs swimming around and stuff.
It
But
is funny to see them swim, right? Like
Mhm,
there's a pig in the water. Like
that's true. But it
there's
is
the
for
sharks.
the four of us, it's like $1,200 to go on that trip, that excursion. So I don't know. We might get there and be like, we
You
don't want to pay
know,
$1,200.
that's what I've heard.
Yeah, yeah,
Also, is
yeah.
like you get
It's
there and
like,
you're like, yeah, oh yeah, it's fun for a half a second. It's like, but then it's like, oh
yeah,
yeah, they're pigs. Like,
it's
and
true.
pigs are
Yeah,
gross. Like pigs are dirty, gross. Like
it's true. But one
you
thing
know, people actually here. Do they do it up there? Like people have pigs as pets.
that's not very common here. No, in the
Yeah,
country,
here,
no,
here
no.
there's patches and there's certain places and people
Mhm.
really love pigs as pets and you're just like,
Dang.
no,
So
no,
it's like that
it's pig.
movie. What was that movie? The football movie there. Oh my God. Friday Night Lights? No, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah. And he had
Mhm.
the pet
Yeah,
pig.
down in
Yeah.
Texas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm,
So it's like that kind
mhm,
of
mhm.
wow.
Yeah.
Are we talking like small pigs or do people have like hogs, like big
Big hogs like that
so
too. Yeah.
damn. That's wild.
Well,
Jeez. Yeah, no, here it's pretty much just food. Like if you like there's farmers, I'm sure they bond with their pigs, but only for a season.
mhm.
And after that, it's, you don't name them. Let's just put it that way. You don't name the animals on the farm. But one thing I do plan on doing while we're there, a lot of scuba diving, not scuba diving, snorkeling. So I bought, those full face masks that,
Yeah, I have one of
yeah.
those. Those are
So
great.
yeah, I bought one
With
of those.
it breathes through the yeah.
Yes, exactly. And then I got the one that has the GoPro thing. So I got a
Mhm.
GoPro so I can hook up the camera. It's my first GoPro. Pretty excited about it. I tried it out in the pool and just make sure it's waterproof and all that stuff, which it is, which is awesome. But yeah, I'm
So
pretty
there's
excited, man.
there's a new camera that's supposed to be competing with GoPro.
Damn, did I buy the wrong one? Shit.
Don't know.
I can still
Don't
return it.
know.
It's not too late.
Don't know, but it's actually
Okay.
because we're actually getting one. We're
Ah,
gonna strive. We're gonna kind of go after a little bit of new format with something we've seen. I wonder if you've seen this kind of reintegration back to that POV.
Ah, yep. And I have seen that. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, yeah,
And so
yeah.
there's some people that have developed some cameras now to really assist with that. Things that can strap around you better, things you can wear,
Yeah.
and then do your videos with more of a POV
That's
type
wicked.
type
Yeah,
look. Yeah.
I think like when done properly, those videos really drive home a point. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If you're, let's say you're trying to show your process or something like that. And the ones I've seen that for me had me super curious and wanting to see more were the ones where it was a mixture. It would be maybe there was some guy talking in front of his shop or his store or something, and they would have that, wide angle shot kind of thing. And then they would either do a side by side and so he'd be explaining something. And then
Mm-hmm.
my wife actually, she watches a lot of those like home organizing and cleaning stuff, and they do that a lot. There'll be someone explaining what they did, and then the other side of the screen is the POV shot of them actually doing stuff, and they're like, "Oh, I was using this product or cleaning like this or whatever." Those ones, man, it makes for really engaging content, I find. It just ropes people in. But the big thing for me is when I see the POV, it's just that authenticity. You know what I mean? Like it's just you see exactly what's happening. And like you remember Cops, the show Cops?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's where they had a lot of that mix of stuff where you
Body
had, like
cam was
body
big
cam,
and
dash cam, all that stuff. Yeah,
mhm.
that's what made the show like you were there.
Bad boys,
You know?
bad
Yeah, yeah.
boys.
What you gonna do? Yeah. But that's what made it like real and entertaining and engaging. And I am happy to see that too, because I feel like at our shop we do a lot of like quick videos, but we don't put a lot of production behind it because we want them to come across as authentic. When they're too edited, what we found was that we didn't see hugely great responses. It just seemed like it was almost too over the top. Like it was, I don't know how to really describe it, but we've all seen those videos where someone put a lot of production value to it, and then the customer watching it, they're either like, "Oh, there's no way I can afford this place," or "It's got to be a scam.
So
It's too polished."
I saw a cool video from a guy that he said POV,
All right.
right? Because I always wonder, okay, if there's something new out, if there's a new way, if there's a new trend, how does a detailer actually capitalize on it, right? How does somebody actually do it? And I saw this POV of your neighbor getting a $1,200 detail.
Ah,
Catchy,
okay. Yeah,
right? Catchy.
yeah, 100%.
With them all the way, it was all highlights of all the work they were doing. And a lot of it was, type of point of view, but also just, they just put their camera back and, let them watch with their, so they mixed it around a couple different ways.
Yeah.
Um, till they got to the coding part.
Okay. Wow.
$1,200 detail.
Yeah.
And then they just go start. I mean,
Mm.
like the way you used to do a cream wax.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
12. And I just go for a moment. I just had to
Oh,
be, I'm like everything I love. I love the
yeah.
marketing's great. I love this. I love that. Why do you have to be the guy that charges $1,200 and slaps?
Yeah,
Not, not the young term slap now.
yeah,
Uh-uh.
yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
that slaps. No, no,
Not
no,
that
no, no.
slight.
You do not slap coating on a car the same as we used to slap Carnauba cream wax and
Yeah.
just slap it on as fast as you could. Or there was that shake up spray wax. Did you ever used to
Oh,
use that
yeah.
where it would come in those two different and you'd shake it up? And I mean, that you slap because you wanted to get it back off as fast as you could.
Yeah.
You do not slap a coating on and charge $1,200.
Man, that's yeah.
I could I really then appreciated the
It's like,
guys that will go into the intricacies. We can
mm.
all go also like listen, we can all know that it gets a little overboard. Like,
Yeah,
hey
yeah,
guys,
yeah.
it's not that like, but to literally just I mean, this dude's slapping, he's wiping towels flying all over the
Jesus.
place.
Oh,
And I
man.
was like,
Yeah.
man, you did
And that's
everything right.
where I think also when it comes to those kinds of shots, that and like if you're doing a polish or something, you want those to be slower shots, I would say,
You would want to give a little bit more of that cinematic,
Yeah.
right? At the moment, you do kind of slow down for just a hair, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
To give it a little
100%.
breath.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Jeez. It's funny. I see a lot of ads like that though, where 50% of it is great, or maybe even 60, 70, and then there's just like one or two things that just completely turns it off. And me, I try and look at things. It's difficult at times because I have a lot of advertising experience to look at things with a fresh lens. But I very much do try and give every ad I see its fair shake and kind of just look at it as a consumer versus, a creator of ads. And that way I can get real ideas for our own shop and things to avoid, things to include, so on and so forth. But I've seen a lot of those, and I do a lot of like research. It doesn't matter what the industry is, you can learn stuff from all different types of ads. But a great industry to check out their ads is the laundry companies, like people that do, like Dawn and with the Gain and all that stuff. Looking at those companies, first off, these companies have spent millions and millions of dollars trying different ads, trying what works, what doesn't. And if you can just watch it and basically replicate their formula for free, steal it. You know what I mean? Like you might as well. And they do such a good job of certain shots and stuff like that, Anyway, that's what I find. Shampoo companies, things like that, they do such a good job of like things will be boom, 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 fast paced, draw you in, music, this, that. But then there's certain things, as we were just talking about, that need to be slowed down and you show the finesse of it, and
Mhm.
then it goes back, and I've seen those POV videos lately popping up, but a lot of them I find are just too fast. Like they speed them up
Yeah.
almost, and it's just you're missing the good parts of your process. The ones I like is where it's like boom, 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 and then it slows down to something. I saw one that was cool the other day. A guy was using a brush and he was doing the doors. And instead of just going super fast and he's just making all these circles, it slowed right down and he was just going
Mm.
straight across in a line. I'm telling you, it actually looked sexy. I was like, man, that is, yeah, I'll throw out that term. Absolutely. And I was like, man, and cleaning it should be like people love seeing, as a whole, I think people love seeing something that's dirty go through that cleaning process, right? It's the reason why like car washes, people are still fascinated with them because there's so much going on. You see the bristles spinning and you see this and that and stuff. The multicolored stuff goes all over your car. It's like an experience, right? It's like
Mhm.
and that's the kind of experience you have to deliver in your ads as well, is that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, that's interesting. So okay, I'm curious about this camera. So
I'll send you the link.
yeah. I'll send you something too, I promise. Marshall's like, I'm really sick of this one-way relationship. No. Okay, David's tea, and I'll send you something else, a bonus. I'll send you some. Damn.
Hmm.
You know what? When I'm in Bahamas, I will go certain places and I will send you stuff,
Hey,
review.
now we're talking.
There we go.
Now we're
See?
talking.
There we
There we
go.
go.
There we
All
go. Just
right.
had to find the right thing. That's where I was like, yeah, I'll do a video tour of the rooms, what it looks like. Yeah. I take my traveling serious though. I printed out a map of the resort because it's massive. Like you could walk around for days. It's
I'll
huge.
take that map. You bet.
So there we go. Absolutely. So I got a map. It's laminated, the whole nine, because I know we're going where there's lots of water. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm trying to maximize every minute while I'm there. Trust me. So, yeah,
That's too
exciting
much. All
stuff.
right.
Mm.
So let me get to my tip
All
and then I'll let you
right, all
do
right.
yours. How about that? You
Perfect.
mind if I take the honors?
As you would. Please.
All right. So I got a call,
All right.
and inside of this call, the guy asked me the question, and he listens to this episode,
Nice, nice.
listens to ours. And he said, I know what you guys say. I hear it every week, but doesn't really do anything with, right? Like,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
okay, cool. So he enjoys the episodes.
Good stuff. Yeah.
Great. Thanks for being along for the ride.
Yeah. 100%.
He goes, I hear what you guys are saying. Um, I've been listening for a long time. By now there's so much that you guys have said. where do I start?
Mm, damn, that's a good question because we've given out like 5,000 tips, and it's like, what do I do? It's almost like tip paralysis. Damn.
And that, in
It's
a
tricky.
sense, is basically what
Yeah.
happens, right? Like a lot of us get to a place where we think we want something,
Mm,
but we don't really know really what it is that we want because we never really get started going after it.
mm,
And that's how you know if you never really wanted it, because you never could really get started with it, in my opinion.
mm.
And which I told him, I go, listen, I've learned I'm dyslexic. So I understand I think things different and differently than other people.
Mm.
And I told him, I said, that's what you got to do, man. If you want to know where to get started, you got to ask yourself, where do I want to end? And that's my tip for today.
It's
Like,
actually a really good point. Yeah.
it is. I mean, no matter what you want to do, in order to get started, you think about where you want to be at the end.
Mm,
That, in a sense, is your plumb line. The plumb line is old school way of being able to do carpentry. You put a weight in a string, use gravity. Like, that's the way they did it. So that's the way you do it. Look at where you want to be, figure out what it is that you want. And this is where then those marketing gurus or business gurus or
yeah.
coaches or any of that will really start to go, okay, but it is true.
Mm,
Like you do need to plan your steps. You do need to understand where you want to be. And that's how you get going.
yeah.
So without trying to be, on the coattails of the marketing guru guys, like,
Okay. Seems we new ones popping up every hour. So
uh, yeah, anyway, I won't go into
yeah,
that
yeah,
story.
that's another. That's,
So yeah, it's a whole nother, like, I,
oh
I mean,
man.
the reason, I guess the way I got to this is understanding then when I would get to moments, if I didn't always think about what I was really ultimately trying to achieve, I might get off track a little bit. That get off track a little bit can be costly, right? To the tune of
Yeah,
40,000 on one business that didn't go so great. You have a business right now that you have a family member in. I had one that I had a family member in that was, we were good for a moment, and then it
yeah,
wasn't good. And when it didn't go good and we went out of business, it cost a lot. Like it wasn't good, right? I mean, even this past, even current, I mean, we still make decisions, we choose things, and then if it costs you, right? It
yeah,
costs you. Like that that is what happens. When you get in those moments though, you can always take a look at, where am I going? What am I really trying to achieve? Okay? When I'm always thinking that plumb line, I can understand if I'm off in a direction, or I can understand the directions I need to change.
yeah,
But that's not really where this talk was supposed to go. There's more of a, hey, if you make some wrong steps later, which you still might, was why I kind of
yeah,
share those
yeah,
two couple stories. Like,
yeah,
even
yeah.
though I have this formula, I still have taken some wrong steps that cost me, right?
100%.
Like, it is
100%.
what it is. But the
Yeah.
question was, where do I get started?
Mm,
I have to share those stories of failure because you're going to be scared many times to get started because you don't want to.
fail.
We're
Yeah,
still failing now.
yeah,
Like, the amount that we just failed on a marketing endeavor, some people they wouldn't know what to do with that number.
yeah.
But we spent a lot and failed. That business I did with it, like there's things I've done that have failed massively.
Yeah.
How do you get started? I mean, you got to look at where you want to go and where you want to be, and you
And
take a
then
step. I don't.
that's
You
the
really
key part right there, the take a step. That's yeah, because even if you take a step and you failed, you still took a step. Taking a step in the wrong direction sometimes tells you which direction is the right direction, oftentimes, you
a
know?
very early example my father gave me that had to do not with business, it had to do with religion actually,
Mm,
and it was, listen, you get on a bike, you got to pedal to be able to get it moving in a direction.
yeah,
It's much easier to steer once it's moving
that's true. That's
than when
true.
you're just starting.
Yeah.
So where do you want to, where do you want to go? That's how you get started. Your first steps aren't going to be great, right? Like they're probably
It's
going to be difficult.
yeah.
There's
As they were when we
examples.
were all born, you know? Like
Bingo. That's a
yeah.
great example. The early steps when you're born are wobbly.
Yeah.
They're uncertain. You eventually grab onto something to help out. I think that grab onto something to help out should be OrbisX. Like
Yeah.
the AI
100%.
involved to helping you out. And here's what you should do with it. And here's where I'm going to go, which is what the overall tip, and I won't keep going too far with setting up the tip, is
Or else
L H F. Not the what that used to be a group, right? There was some,
Yeah.
was that summer something? LHF, they sang some song, right? Oh gosh, what was that? That's probably like 20 years ago.
It'll burn me too.
I don't know. If anybody can remember that song, post in
Yeah.
the group. Shawn will give you something. Uh
Yeah, yeah.
Low hanging
Put me
fruit.
into the bus, right? Into the bus.
But low hanging fruit, right? How do
Yeah.
you get started? You get started with low hanging fruit. It's what every you can
Yeah.
business guru, right? Low hanging fruit, sales guru, anybody, everybody talks about low hanging fruit. How could you use AI, OrbisX, email marketing, text marketing? How do you use the concept of low hanging fruit? It is the customers that you already have. How
Hmm.
do you get started with marketing? Which is what I told him. I said, hey, listen, man, you don't need to get started with marketing. You need to get started with selling.
Yeah. 100%.
So many of us really want to learn, how do I get started with marketing? There's all these tips. How do I do this?
Yeah.
You need to be able to look somebody in the eye and sell them something.
Yeah.
Like,
If you nail that part, literally sky's the limit. Like it's yeah.
on the best way to start, the easiest step ahead is with your current customers, people that already trust you to do something.
Yeah.
This guy needs to fill a schedule. He's not consistent. AI, email marketing, text marketing will help. That will be
100%.
something that every single person should take advantage of. The next thing you need to do is all technology in the world. Just like I earlier got an oil change and I was watching videos and clicking buttons and doing things, I finally told somebody, hey man, I've never had a single person come over and talk to me. And
Mm,
now I'm getting late. I
yeah.
need somebody to come talk to me. You eventually need to talk to somebody. You need to learn how to sell somebody something. Technology and all that is wonderful. You need to take advantage of low hanging fruit, learn how to sell something to
Yeah.
somebody that's already using your service. And that is, without a doubt,
Mm,
in that plumb line where you want to end, you've got to sell somebody something to get you to that point. That's your first step.
yeah. 100%. And you know, I'm glad you mentioned something because it leads very well into my tip, which is the talking to someone part. Because I'm a big fan of AI, big fan
It's
of
cool when
automation.
we do this, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it is. You know, I was
Because
listening
we
to
don't plan
episode.
these.
No,
We
no, no,
don't.
not at all. Yeah, and you actually have no idea what I'm about to talk about
Mhm.
today. I love it, you know. But You were saying some things, and there's two things you had mentioned that tie very well with what I wanted to talk about today. One is metrics, I'm going to get into, and the second one, which was I was going to talk about second, but now is first, is talking to people. Because I also had a call recently with someone, and they told me they were having trouble with selling as well, and they said they wanted to try and automate things so they could do things on a bigger scale because they're playing the numbers game, and that's what they told me. And I said, yes, you are playing the numbers game, but not in the way that you're thinking. You're thinking it's if I walk into a room and there's 100 ladies there and I ask 95 of them to get their number.
The old Greg maneuver back
Yeah,
in the
the old
day,
Greg
right?
maneuver. Yeah, then you just boom, boom,
Man.
boom, boom, boom. Like machine gun dating. It's like, but it's a method that can work, but it can also fail miserably, and it requires the maximum effort. So in terms of talking about first steps, looking at what step to take, blanket marketing like that is usually the most expensive and the least productive in
Mhm.
terms of a conversion rate. So that shouldn't be your first step. And you're absolutely right. You hit the nail on the head. Your current customers are where you need to start. But in talking with this guy, he said, okay, so my current customers, but I want to automate that whole process and this and that and stuff. And I said, okay, your wife sends you a message. That takes time out of your day and you're trying to get a result. So why don't you just automate all your texts with your wife as well? Well, that's crazy. She'd be so mad that she's not really talking to me. I said, bingo. That's the same with your customers. So number one, OrbisX is amazing. The automation is amazing. And the reason we have the AI text helper built in is so that you can change your messages. Because if you're sending the same guy the same message every 3 months, you're not building any value there at all. He doesn't feel, he's like, oh, great, I already got this. You know what I mean? Same reason why my wife will text me. Sometimes I'm like, hey, babe. Sometimes like, hey, sweetie. Sometimes it's different every time. We're building a relationship, right? And so you have to do that with your customers. And he says, yeah, but all my customers, most people, they don't want to spend any money nowadays. And I said, okay. And this leads me into the first part of my tip here. It's a two-pronger. I'll keep it short and sweet. But so the first part is stop assuming that everybody wants to pay nothing. Stop assuming that they want it to be a little cheaper or a little this and that. And the example I used with him was farmers markets.
Mm.
The best way to get your vegetables would be going to Costco. You can buy it in bulk or some other place. But I'm saying you can, you're like, wait a minute, because you can buy it in bulk, you pay
You
one
said best
transaction.
way. I was with you until you said best way at Best Buy or
Yeah, yeah, no,
Costco.
fair.
I
But
was like, wait,
what I, yeah, yeah, what I mean is the most convenient and lowest priced
cheapest.
option,
Yeah, great
cheapest,
price. Yeah,
it's
big
usually going
ball.
to
Yeah.
be going to like Walmart or Costco or something like
There you
that.
go. There you go.
But yet, hundreds of farmers markets, thousands actually, across North America pop up every year. And most of them are selling the same stuff, but yet people go there. They even book in time to go with their families. They go there. 10 vendors might be selling the same exact stuff. You've got to make 10 different transactions. Like, talk about a really inconvenient process. It's not like I grab something from here, something from there, walk up to one place and pay all at once. I gotta swipe my card at every one of these damn stalls. You know what I mean? This guy's selling cucumbers. Oh, the next guy's selling cucumbers. It's all the same stuff. And it's more expensive than if I went to Walmart or Costco. So what's the added value there? What's the intrigue? And so the thing is that we all make these assumptions about our customers and the potential customers that are out there. And we assume things like, oh, they want it to be fast, or they want it to be cheap, or they want it to be this or that. But you really don't know what you don't know. And the more time you, as a person, a human being, spend getting to know your customers, talking with them, asking the right questions, the better you'll be able to answer those questions. But you have to go into it with the mentality of understanding that there are things out there that are less convenient, more expensive, more cumbersome, they're less available, so on and so forth, but yet people still purchase. So why is that demographic still purchasing? Marty, if I go to any website and I'm booking a trip, I'm coming down to see you, right? All right, Marshall, I'm coming to visit you. I guarantee you, if I plug it in the GPS, it's going to show me what? The fastest route. It's assuming that I want to get there fast. I haven't told Google anything about my life, anything about my travel plans. It's just assuming Shawn must want to get there in 7 hours.
He's like
What if,
most people.
yeah, true. But what if I want to take a nice scenic route and I want to see a lot of sights as I go and so on and so forth? There's no option there for me to do that, right? They just remove that because they've made that assumption. Now, in terms of GPS, usually I'd say that's pretty correct because I don't want to spend a lot of time on the road. But oftentimes it's not. And so we make these assumptions where I'm going to show you the cheapest tickets first. I'm not going to show you the first class seats. I'm not going to show you this. I have to physically go and do some things to see that first. You know, we see this all over the place. You see it with even coffee shops. We were talking about that earlier before we jumped on, but you know, a lot of coffee shops focus on speed, right? So here we have Tim Hortons. It's huge. Everybody loves Timmy's. They focus on speed. You go through there, you're getting, they even have a timer outside the drive-through. And I think they have like 90 seconds or something. And if
Mhm.
you haven't gotten your order in 90 seconds, like someone's getting written up. Like it's bad. You got to have that food ready in 90 seconds. But when the price of coffee at Timmy's goes up 12 cents, which it did recently, people protested. People went outside and protested. I can't believe it's raising 12 cents. But yet the same people will go and pay double the price for houses because of inflation and so on and so forth. You're going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars more and say nothing. But 12 cents on a large coffee is ridiculous. But they protested because they have ingrained that and created that culture, right? So they attract, as we've mentioned before, a certain type of customer. So now
Mm.
they're going to look at their
Mm.
customer base and they're going to assume that's what
Oh,
customers want.
do I have flies around here?
Drive flies exactly. You're gonna get shit customers. But that's where Starbucks has been raising their prices more than Tim Hortons year over year, but they've been providing a higher quality product in the view of their customers. And one of the things that they did is they said, let's not assume that people want something fast and let's slow things down. So they used to just pump out coffee the same way, but it was devaluing their brand, devaluing their product. So then they put in a policy and they said, we're only going to serve two coffees at a time. That's what we're going to do. And yeah, we're going to have lineups, but they're still going to pay $7 for a cup versus Tim Hortons. You're going to pay $1.52 and you're complaining about the 12 extra cents. It's just different customers that are going there. But you can't assume because you see Tim Hortons operating a certain way that, oh, well, none of my customers want to pay any money, nobody this and that. There are people out there that have other wants and needs, which brings me to my second point, which is assessing your metrics. So I mentioned on our last episode that we started these campaigns with a local tire shop that's nearby us, and we're
Hmm.
doing kind of a co-branded, co-funded, whatever advertising campaign. We're working together. We sell tire changes, send them down there. They sell detailing and tinting, send them over to us. So it's working out well. But as I mentioned before, we've got a few cooks in the kitchen now. And so there's feedback and opinions. And so first round of ads was doing well, but it wasn't doing well in the ways that I had wanted it to. And we were only focused on one channel at the time. And my recommendation was before we make any adjustments there, we spread to other channels first, and then we circle back. And I was getting a lot of resistance, and there was a little bit of tension because everyone else was saying, no, no, we just need to figure out what targets we have for these metrics and then go all in on Facebook. And that's what we're going to do. I said, guys, we might find out that Facebook's not the right market for the customers we're looking for, and we're missing out on Google because we're not doing anything with Google. So what we have to do instead is look at our customer universe instead of just a singular channel. So they said, yeah, but look, we got this many bookings from this, and so that needs to be the target for next week and the week after and the week after. And it was that moment I realized that they were making a fatal flaw. And this is my big tip overall. Pause, but this is my big tip, is that any metric that becomes a target loses its value as a metric. And what I mean by that is if you say, okay, we got 5 new bookings for XYZ, they booked a tint and they're getting their tires changed. And if we say, okay, that's the new target, what we've done now is we've said all of our Facebook ads, and if we start running Google ads and everything else, we need to do everything we can to get 5 bookings a week because we need to do exactly what we did on Facebook to get those 5 bookings. But when we do that, that metric is meaningless because we haven't tested anything in Google. We might try something completely different in Google, get different metrics, and they actually lead to something else. We might find out that if we drop the tire change completely, then we'll sell more tire changes just by getting more people in for detailing. So they come in for detailing, but then now we have different metrics that are in our shop. And so if we just focus on the metrics and we set targets independently, and we say we want to get 20 more bookings, let's just reach out to our universe that we just created now, not the singular channel, and let's try different things. And then let's see what the metrics logically explain. But we don't start saying, if we take these metrics that we tried at Facebook and apply them over in Google, we're going to get the same results in Google because we've now turned that metric into a target. So that's what I'm saying. And so how do you do this? And this comes back to the first step part. And what we did is we ran some ads internally with our existing customers.
Mm.
And then we followed up with a phone call. I know that
Mm.
sounds crazy. We followed up with a phone call. First question, did you get our email that we sent over to you? No? Check your inbox. I'm going to call you tomorrow. You did get it? What did you think? Was there anything enticing in the offer? Was it horrible? I'm asking you because we value you as a customer and we want more customers just like you. What feedback can you give me? What we've done now is we've just told that customer
Make me feel
exactly
special.
the warm and fuzzies, exactly. So they feel special. We want more of you. They feel great. They give us honest feedback that we can now use in our ads to get other people. And at the same time, we're now top of their mind. And then we follow up later and we say, by the way, just wanted to thank you. We ran our new ads with the changes based on stuff you had told us. The ads are working really well. We've got a bunch more people like you, not as great, but close enough. We really appreciate your feedback. While I have you on the phone, have you booked in to get your tires changed over before winter comes? The deadline is December 1st for most insurance companies. We can get you a detail the same day. Does that work for you? Would you like something next week, the week after, so on and so forth? You've opened up that door, basically. So it's part of a process. So this isn't if we just looked at the initial metric of let's send this out and oh, we got some bookings without having those conversations with customers, we wouldn't have learned as much to reach the actual targets we want. And at the same time, we wouldn't have had any human interaction. So we're the ones that are just making the assumptions and we end up giving people the fastest route without the scenic route. And so you need to have all of these pieces together. So when it comes to the first step really is just reaching out. So reach out to your current customers. But as Marshall said, you have to have a plan in mind, a destination. And so that's how we set our targets. Our targets are a destination. It's not the metrics. Oh, we need 5 bookings a day to reach these targets or something. No, 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 no. That's all just part of the whole puzzle. But our target is the destination. The process of us talking with customers, trying out different ads, these kinds of things, those are all baby steps. And some of them we wobble, some of them we fall, and other ones we take off at a running sprint and we don't stop. So it's the whole pieces of the pie. So take your first steps. Don't be scared. You might fall down, dust yourself off, get back up. I'm here talking to you, giving you this information while I'm sick as a dog. I'm taking steps. And so once again, me and Marshall, we do this podcast for free. We do it because we love you guys. We love the community. We want to give back.
Mm.
But this is also community. This is also part of us taking steps to have real conversations with you guys so that you guys will see the value in things, the products Marshall's selling, the product I'm selling, and you guys will build that relationship with us and we'll build it with you because we want to see you guys succeed. And as such, we build up that brand loyalty with you guys as well. So everything that we do is taking steps. Don't be afraid to take yours today. Absolutely. There we go. I need some Benadryl now. But yeah, anyway, so I really like your how you dove in there with your tip, the talking with people. I think people are terrified of that. I think that's and it's a tough one, you know.
So I gave him some books, and that's ultimately what
Nice.
people need to do is just I'm the same way. I
Yeah.
I'm not good. Never have liked casual conversation. I'm not good at small talk. Like
Mm,
it's just never a bit like I had to actually learn how to go in and sell. I had to learn how to go talk to somebody. Like to
yeah,
learn how to like yeah. I mean,
yeah.
so what do you got to
It's
do if you
it's
want to do it?
true.
You
Yeah,
know,
and just try stuff out too. Like I often use ChatGPT, for example, to ask it questions. I'll take something that we're using as like questions that we ask customers, things like that, and I'll put it in there. And I'm like, hey, can you reword this question as if I was selling to a woman? Can you reword this question as if I'm
that's
selling
perfect.
to a
Look at
teenager?
you, bouquet of tips
I
on
know.
the back end of the tip. Look at you.
Sorry, I didn't see it coming. Sorry, guys. It was a surprise tip. But those kinds of things help because it's having another person kind of just spitball it. But on that note, a cool thing you can do with ChatGPT is you can actually shadow sales. You can practice sales with ChatGPT.
It's a
You can
great
say,
idea.
"Hey,
It's
I'm
a great
selling
idea.
you a
I
ceramic
bet
plate."
you after you get from back from the Bahamas, that's why I'm
Yeah,
cutting you off
yeah,
before you keep going.
yeah.
I
Fair.
bet you after you get back from the
Yeah,
Bahamas, we'll have something like that because that's going to
yeah.
be my next thing that,
Hmm.
and I think we should definitely talk about that. How do you,
Duty.
while I was sitting there at this dealership, the sales manager was with a young not detailer, young salesman, and they were
Yeah.
going over a role play.
Nice. Yeah. Role play
And
is.
up,
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Okay.
when you get
Yeah, yeah.
back from the
You're right.
Bahamas.
I'm on my way to Bahamas. All right. I will be taking my Benadryl, get better for the next few days, and then I'm gone. I will see you guys in 2 weeks. And that's that. And I'll have a plethora of tips, trust me. Because the whole time I'm there, trust me, a vacation is a vacation, but it's also the time when they're going to be selling the shit out of me. And so I pay attention to all those things and see how they work, especially when people are in a euphoric state. It's like weddings, stuff like that. So pay attention to how people are different with their money, right? And so same thing, someone comes in your shop, brand new car, they're gonna be feeling a little different about it than if it's a 12-year-old beater or something like that. So anyway, before I get into another tip, all right. There we go. It's too much. I appreciate you, Marshall. Awesome. Thanks, man. I'll see you in 2 weeks, and I'll let you know. I will send you videos though. Promise, promise, promise. I owe you, and I will send you the link for David's team. All right. Awesome. All right. Cheers, man. We'll see you soon.